What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking all about the wonderful world of Prestige in Marvel Contest of Champions. How does it work? What does it do? Why do I need to be bothered about Prestige? And then we're going to explain how to calculate it and also give you guys a bit of ranking up advice and stuff that you should think about in the longer term of playing the game if you are kind of really invested in Marvel Contest of Champions and really want to get into the end game. So what is Prestige, guys? It is essentially the base power index of your top 5 champions added together and then divided by 5, and that is your prestige. However, you can't calculate this in the game itself. So in the game, your power index of your champions is actually altered by your masteries. However, the artificial increase provided by your masteries doesn't actually affect the prestige of the actual champions, and that is why there is not like a cookie cutter build for like the best mastery build for prestige, and that masteries, you know, are flexible and there's a lot of personal preference and personal choice, because that's one of the questions I get on the channel quite a bit. Seatin, which masteries should I use to get the best prestige? Well, masteries don't affect prestige at all. So it's the base power level, and it's something that you do need to calculate using, you know, third-party tools, aka this very glamorous Google document that we've got, and we'll move on to that in a little bit. But let's talk about why prestige is important, and it's mainly one very important factor in the game, which is Alliance Quest and the progression of that. So every week when you start Alliance Quest, you're going to have like a prestige level, and the Alliance Quest one is determined by everybody in your alliance's prestige added together and then divided by the amount of people in the alliance. So basically it finds the average prestige between the lowest and highest player. So it's very important, especially when you get to end game alliances, and you're going to see in a lot of recruitment posts that they do have like a minimum of like 3,200 prestige, or, you know, 4,000, or, well, it really depends what rewards you're trying to get. So let me just quickly flick over to what is it, a document that I have open. It's a web page. We've got tons of awesome tabs on this one. So basically, the higher your prestige is when it comes to doing Alliance Quest stuff, the harder the enemies are going to be in certain maps, and the harder the enemies are, the more points you can get, and the higher you can score on the ranked rewards, and the more you can progress through the tiers, and the higher tier you're in, the better rewards. So there is a lot to it, guys, a lot to it, but hopefully that very quick rundown of what is prestige, how does it work, why is it important, you guys understand. You know, you need prestige to get more points in Alliance Quest, and the more points you get, the higher rank you can get up and the better rewards you can get. And especially when you get to some of the higher tiers, after kind of, well, even in the peak human, you can start getting, you know, tier 4 basic catalyst every week, and then when you move up from that, you're scoring even more points. You can get maybe a class catalyst every week along with a tier 4 basic, and then the rewards just keep on going up and up to multiple basics, and in some cases, if you're really good at the game, multiple tier 4 class catalyst every week, which again help expand and progress your roster further and further on. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how prestige works, its function in the game. But let's talk about, you know, how to work out your prestige now. So there's this absolutely amazing prestige calculator that was only updated 4 days ago by Reddit hero MD Kosu. So what you're going to do, guys, I'm going to give you a link to this and also the spreadsheet in the description below. He basically explains how the prestige calculator works, but I'm also going to quickly cover that in this video and gives you a link to it. So this is essentially the prestige calculator, and it's got quite a few cool tools to it. So what you want to do when you get onto this calculator, once you've opened it up, it should prompt you to make a copy of the document, but if it hasn't for whatever reason prompted you to make a copy of the document, you want to manually make a copy by your own, which is pretty easy to do. You just go to File and then Make a Copy, and then once you've made a copy, you can actually edit the document and input your roster. So you want to input pretty much all of your best champions that you have. So I've got so many champions, but there are a few that I haven't inputted. I've just only inputted the ones that I know that are really good for prestige, and this is my prestige at the moment. So my prestige at the moment is 3,216. So one of the interesting things that I want to point out as well is so if you have a look on this document, it shows that my top 5 champions: a Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Deadpool X-Force, Iron Fist, and Ultron. However, if we flick back to the game and look at my champions, so let's sort by all of them. So we want to filter 5-star and 4-star, and we want to sort by the top ones that we have. So if we look at this in the game view, I would be led to believe that my top 5 champions for prestige at the moment are Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Deadpool, Iron Fist, or Storm. However, when deducting that mastery inflation, it actually becomes Ultron instead of Storm that is my 5th best champion. So that's something to bear in mind as well, guys. Just don't enter your top 5 champions, enter your top 10 on the spreadsheet, because it is important when you remove the mastery inflation. Some champions do rise above the others. So let's go back to that document again. So it's very easy, guys. All you need to do is basically enter the what star it is and then the champion name. So when you're typing something in the list, let's say a 4-star, start typing Luke Cage, and just click on the result there, and then you basically enter its rank. So this is on the assumption that once you've got a character to a certain rank, that it's going to be the max level. So 330, 440, etc. It doesn't ask you for the level of the champion, just the rank. So make sure if you do want an accurate calculation, that you put that when you're entering it, you do have the character at the max level for that rank. So let's just check in Luke Cage there, and then you put the signature ability level. So if he's not awakened, it will be 0. If he is awakened, what level is it at? And that will give you the actual PI and prestige of the champion, and that's going to be significantly lower from what you see in the game, because the in-game numbers again are inflated by the masteries. Now this might be a little bit confusing to you guys, but just give it a little bit of time, and I'm sure that it will come on. So from this I can see what are my best champions, and that's good. I can work out my prestige. However, there is a second tab. Once you've filled in the main one, you can actually go to max, and that's going to look at all your champions and look at what is the highest achievable level for the champions that you have right now with the upgrade catalyst and class catalyst. Now it doesn't take into account if you are to dupe that champion and bring it up to level 99. So for example, if I do add let's say levels to the Phoenix here. So let's say I add 1 dupe level to the Phoenix, which I'm very likely to awaken. She may very well be suggested. Oh no, it needs to be a lot more than 1. Let's say 20 levels. So if I add more to that, then she's going to be a suggested one instead of Deadpool X-Force, who is suggested. So by using the max column, that can give you a little bit of guidance on what some of your best champions might be to kind of bring up and fully upgrade. However, the problem when I'm looking at my max one right now is that it is suggesting a lot of tech champions, and obviously, when it comes to getting, both 550 champions and also 345 ones, you are limited by the amount of tech class catalysts you can get. So in reality, it's suggesting I get my Star-Lord up, my Ultron up, and also my Rocket Raccoon, but that is a ridiculous amount of tech catalysts that I'm not going to be able to farm for about another year. So in reality, I'm probably going to have to settle for, having the Scarlet Witch or Captain America, or maybe a better option in another class. So that's something to bear in mind as well when looking at this list. But it looks like in terms of, actually bringing up my champions, I'm going to be able to get quite a substantial increase on my prestige very soon, because I've got my both my dupe Star-Lord and my dupe Storm at rank 2 at the moment, but as soon as I get them to rank 3, which I'm extremely close to, my prestige is going to shoot up by quite a bit. And then I've got a choice as well, and this is something that I want to talk about, guys, is ranking up for prestige. So my other choice at the moment is I have 3 tier 4 cosmic catalysts. So the choice at the moment is between my 4 or my Phoenix, and I know that generally in the game the 4 is going to be the much better option to actually play. However, in comparison to the prestige, I'm just going to quickly get the put the Phoenix up. So we're going to set them both to rank 5 and look at the prestige difference there. I know while my 4 has more uses and is a really good champion for Alliance Quest and slaying Kang, to overall help my alliance progress and get those better rewards, it is going to be a much better option for me to bring the Phoenix up, because she has such a higher ceiling of prestige that she can reach. So let's just set both of these champions to level 99. It's honestly crazy the difference between the two champions. If I can get the Phoenix up and then put 99 levels in her, she's going to be almost, it's like just over 900 better in terms of prestige than 4, and is overall going to help my alliance gain a lot more points and secure us class catalysts and basics on a weekly basis. While in the short term, I might have like a subparish champion up. I mean, Phoenix isn't that bad, but she isn't that great. In the longer term, I'm going to be able to get more catalysts and eventually get, you know, the champions that I really, really want to get up, the champions that I enjoy playing to that max level. So hopefully, guys, that gives you a little bit of advice and my perspective on prestige. Overall, I kind of wish prestige wasn't so much of a thing in the game because, you know, it does mean that some of the times you do need to, for the good of your alliance, for the good of progression in endgame, and to kind of stay competitive, because you're always competing against other alliances that are constantly getting rank ups. Sometimes you do need to make decisions on ranking up your champions when it gets to, you know, those rank 5s and 5-star rank 3s that don't, you know, purely benefit you, they benefit the alliance as a whole by increasing your prestige. And that is why, you know, I've learned in the last couple of months the very important phrase of rank 4 prestige over personal preference. And sometimes that is needed, but also sometimes it is important to rank up those really, really beast mode OP champions like Scarlet Witch, because they can just mean that you can very easily tackle a lot of stuff in the end game, such as winning alliance wars and doing all these cool events and stuff, which, you know, well, personally can help you out. But sometimes, you know, I've got the Scarlet Witch up, great champion, but really sucks for prestige, so I can take a hit on the 4 and, you know, delay that to a later date, get the Phoenix up, get some incredible prestige there. So hopefully, guys, that explains a little bit more about prestige. Again, it is very a little bit confusing for newer players, but hopefully my explanation has helped you understand a little bit more about prestige and why it is important in the game. If you did enjoy this video, guys, feel free to give it a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel and like this video and would like to see more awesome Marvel Contest of Champions content, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. That would be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Have an absolutely fantastic day.